Now, according to the Free State emergency officials, there's not been a second dam wall collapse in Jagersfontein. Last night, reports emerging that another dam had been flooded. This, of course, bringing panic to residents who are still, as you've just heard from Ms. Patricia Kopane, grappling with the collapse of the dam wall earlier this month. And they still apparently have not received support. And there is an urgent need to protect vulnerable communities where mines such as this one operate. Let's unpack this further now with Tshikululu Social Investments and speaking to Graeme Wilkinson. Graeme, good afternoon. Welcome to Today here on eNCA DSTV channel 403. Just first up, I mean, many of us don't hear about tailings dam at any point in time unless you work in the mining industry. But the Jagersfontein disaster has highlighted that these infrastructure exist. But what is the importance of what can we learn from this? What's important about this tragedy from your perspective in terms of environmental issues, social issues and governance issues?
Thank you, Dan, and yes, good afternoon to your viewers. Mekopane, in her explanation now, just spoke to all three of those things so eloquently, and the visuals did as well. The environment issues are immediately apparent. You can see the impact of the failure of that tailings dam on the environment. The social issues we've heard about in terms of people not having a place to live. They are facing a direct impact on their ability to eke out a livelihood. And then there are serious governance issues that have been flagged through this unfortunate incident. We, of course, feel for the communities that are affected. And I think many of us are concerned with the idea of what this means for the way things are managed by mines and communities and by governance structures like government departments in the country. Why we look at these things as under the ES, the E, the S and the G, it is coming out of an approach to responsible investing, which appreciates the link that there exists between almost every one of us who has a savings account or a pension fund, that we are in some way linked to, through the capital markets, to mines and renewable energy companies and any corporate really in South Africa, and that we do in some way, we are linked. It might seem, watching the program, watching the news, sitting in our offices or in our living rooms at home, or on our computers, on our laptops and our cell phones, we might feel quite far removed from Jagersfontein, quite far removed from the reality of what is a tailings dam. And yet those of us who have any kind of investment are probably in some way connected to this event. So we all are affected and have in some way possibly contributed to the environment, social and governance issues that are playing themselves out in this particular.
I mean, socially, the community of Jagersfontein currently is battling. I mean, and just communities who live in such areas. I mean, what's the importance of the social aspect of the ESG?
Well, there's the first primary thing to think about when you, from an investment perspective, is the investment is being made obviously to eke out financial returns. And we're not about to denigrate mining as an industry. In fact, we as a country are very keen on having mines, and because we know that if the mine thrives, the community around the mine will also thrive. And so we're hoping that by having a successful mine that's operating well and earning profits, it will be employing people, it will be investing in that municipality and helping to build the social infrastructure as well. So you will, with a successful mine, having a good, engaged interaction with their local community, you'd see the community beginning to thrive in many different ways. What's happened here is the exact opposite of what we'd hoped to achieve, is that the community has actually suffered, and many would say, and we've just seen from Mekopane and her colleagues, that they're saying the community not only is not thriving, they're actually carrying the cost, the social cost of a disaster that's happened because of a mine where something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
So yes, the S is very important because it from an investor's perspective, you're both wanting to mitigate the risk of things going wrong. You don't want to lose money as an investor, but you also don't want to be part of something going wrong. You don't want to be culpable in any way. What you do want to see is that you're thriving as an investor and that the community around the thing you're investing in, such as a mine, is also thriving. And so the social concerns like education, health and well-being are improving because of that investment.
Yeah, that would speak to the concept or that many corporates talk about of shared value. But what role can a responsive community play? I mean, I don't know in the scenario such as Jagersfontein what kind of structures or forums existed there before, but there is a community there and they are organized. What role can they play in such a scenario as we've just seen unfolding now in Jagersfontein?
Yes. Look, it's difficult to answer that question not knowing whether there was indeed a community forum that exists. We have heard reports through the media anyway of community members affected by this disaster saying that they have had no engagement with the mine since the new owners took over two years ago. And that would be quite an indictment, both parties, that they over 2 years haven't found a way to find each other. But the benefits of working with communities, whether you're a mine or a renewable energy company, even a school, the benefits of working with the community and being seen as being a partner is the community will, the community appreciates that its success depends on the mine's success. And if the community is seeing the early signs of the tailings dam failing, which there have been some reports that happened, had there been a good and engaged, like a forum or a structure in which these sorts of concerns could have been flagged, it's possible that perhaps the disaster could have been averted. It's one of the things that's really tragic about the Jagersfontein is it seems by all accounts that it was an entirely preventable disaster. And the S is part of the different things that one can build around a mine to shore up the mine and its community.
But it is, as we conclude, I mean, Graeme, as we conclude, it is up. The responsibility lies with the investor to make sure that there is a good engagement, stakeholder engagement with the community as well, and the community needs to be organized. Thank you very much for sharing some of your thoughts with us here. That's Graeme Wilkinson from Tshikululu Social Investments.